Teaching Corner. Today I wanted to show you a couple of resources that I've used for teaching prefixes, roots, and suffixes. As an Orton-Gillingham tutor, sometimes the most difficult thing to do is to come up with words, sentences, and a story for our students. So these resources are already put together so you're not having to look for lists and lists of words on the internet. One of the first ones that I came across that I've used in the past is really good, I feel like, for your elementary school students who are doing morphology, or for maybe some of your students who are more visual learners. It comes from I'm Loving Lit, and all of these books are about $9.99. The ones I looked at today, they have 3 different ones, 4 to 8. Grades 4 to 8, 4 to 5, and 6 to 8. So depending on what it is that you're doing, if you've got everything from elementary to middle school, or if you're teaching just elementary school or just middle school. The one I have is from 2015 that I personally use with my students, but I'm sure some of the pictures and things like that, because I even see on the covers, are the same. But the cool thing about it is, this is a notebook where you will make a prefix, root, and suffix, and the kids will then cut out and manipulate different things, color in, making shapes to help them remember. So for instance, if you were doing bio, which means life, there's this picture of like a butterfly, and then there's the lists of the words and what they mean, and then the kids can cut these out. So there's one that just has just the word and what it means, and then there's one that has the words and they can cut them. And what I would do is I would sometimes take those lists of vocabulary, and we would paste the completed list on one side with the one that had the word and what it meant, but on the other side I would actually have my kids cut them up, and so behind the word they would then paste what the word actually meant, so that as they're manipulating and pulling up part of the wing of the butterfly, they're seeing what that word, like biohazard, what that word actually means. Another one that is from William Van Cleve, and if you're in the Orton-Gillingham community, you know that he is a guru when it comes to writing. But this Prefix, Suffixes, and Roots was created by Diana Hickley Gold, Elaine Russo, Linda Wallace, and Judy Shapiro. And they did PS, Prefixes, Suffixes, and Roots. I absolutely love this curriculum. If this is the only one that you could afford to buy, this is the one I would buy. You get it off of his website, so wvced.com. It is $49, but it is worth its weight in gold. And the reason is because he gives you a list, the ladies who created it give you a list of the prefixes, roots, and suffixes at the beginning that you're going to be going over. Obviously, you can tell I've used it with my students because things are highlighted. But the wonderful thing that I love is it's leveled. So they come up with, they have the words, then they have it in phrases, because we're working from easy to hard. So we have words, then we have phrases, then we have sentences. But if you will notice, it has 1A, then it has 1B, and this one even goes to 1C. So as you're going, if you have elementary school students who are just learning how to do this, you might give them this list. If you have middle school students, you'll give them this list, because it's more complicated words, more difficult words. And then the wonderful thing about this is many times you can find words and phrases and sentences, but you can't find stories. So they have gone to the trouble of then creating stories with these morphemes in them. But the other thing that I like, as the kids are getting further and further, we go from the list that only had 20 words into lists that have, I think, up to 40 words. Yeah. So as they get into some of the roots and things like that, they get even longer lists, longer phrases, more sentences, and, you know, of course, a bigger story. So again, we're going from that easy to hard, we're progressing the kids, and depending on where your student is, because sometimes you can find a list, but the words are so hard that your kid who is maybe working on that particular suffix, but not that far in the sequence on other things, can't read those more difficult words. So I absolutely love this because it's already multi-levels, you know, tiered for different kids, and you can use it. And then another thing that I do is I might have them read half of the words, half of the phrases, half of the sentences, and then I've already got the words, phrases, and sentences for review and reinforcement for my next couple of lessons because they haven't read them all. So I just love this particular curriculum. I find it super helpful. Again, none of this, I don't get paid to say any of this. This is just my particular opinion. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!